This is your weekend market review for Friday, March 22nd, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market review for Friday, March 22nd, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great week. Going to have a great weekend. Interesting week as we talked about. Potentially topping action, choppiness, a lot of sloppiness. Some things leading, some things pulling back, some things just absolutely stuck. Again, the economic data is falling off a cliff, but the market can do whatever it needs to do before shaking out. And seeing a lot of selling, insider selling, seeing a lot of just what I would say just anomalies. And it makes it hard because you think gravity can be defied. And we'll see what happens here because who knows near term, but again, longer term, there's a lot of writing on the wall for some big issues. And again, as I said this before, the only way the feds will ever be able to control inflation is with a credit event, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So let's get into the details. Let's check out the data. Let's check out the information levels and everything so you're prepared for next week. We know going into next week, you have durable orders and GDP. Those are the big ones. Tuesday for durable orders, GDP for Thursday. Kind of a light week going into the jobs the following month. And so again, end of quarter, do not be surprised by potential markup, mark down, end of month, end of quarter. Last day of the month is on the 29th. New to the channel, check out the Discord room, a link in the description below. If you need any help for real estate or just want to chat, use the live Zoom chat and the Calendly link in the description below. Follow on the website, tradingagent.com. Appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Again, get your recommended reading, get your interactive brokers. And don't be scared to move some money into Marcus. Love this account. So follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, check out all the educational videos that are on my website and on the YouTube channel. Follow on the Twitter. Oh, check out my open house this weekend with a homie. Always posting the trades here. So let's get into it. CME watch tool. We know going into May, it's maybe, baby. June is where it looks like you start to see the cuts. Why are they cutting? Is the economy so strong? We'll see. Bitcoin, we talked about holding between 68,000 and like 61 and change. You break out, you give it back. That is dangerous. But the longer holds up high and tight, the more bullish I would be. Oil over $80. We talked about getting over these levels. I've said this, there's a huge short interest. Whatever happens, demand destruction, recession, if they try to do a credit issue, I still do not think oil has much of a, it's not going negative. Let's just say that. It has a higher floor. Natural gas, love these areas here. I don't know why it hasn't refreshed. Eat fresh, refresh. Come on. Yeah, sticking along these levels. Again, I like it less downside. However, do not be surprised by any means if something happens, meaning, well, could the market pull back and natural gas slip a little bit? It's always possible. Again, it just seems like the downside is minimal. Dollar, we said watch it rise. Once it got over, watch for the 100-day. Again, dollar is starting to creep up. TLT, bonds broke over the FOMC highs. All right, rates going lower. Something's coming. VIX holding this area, filling the gap, chopping around, a little higher low. VIXN and VIX holding up. VIXN, VIX, blah, 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 VIX holding up. Watch the range, right? Watch the range, folks. All right, let's get into the SPY because, again, it gapped up. And then look at the last 2 days. Like, it just looks very distributive. Nobody has any desire to buy. Again, you pull back on heavier volume. You ripped on higher volume or low volume. You gap, and is it trapping? Again, QQQ, double topping up here, triple topping, whatever you call it. Watch the levels. IWM just has nothing. Look at today's IWM. Ugh. Banks were crap. A lower high. DIA, same thing. Like, here we go, starting to pull back a little bit. But again, it felt like one of those weird days, right? You would think gold would be going bonkers, right? Makes a new high, gives it back up. Again, watch the 199 level. Silver, again, it cannot get over the 23 levels. I mean, zoom out. Like, this is just massive resistance. It hits it, gives it up. GDX, again, you would think the miners would start cooking. Oops. New highs, and then gives it right back. Near term, again, your guess is as good as mine. But I mean, you're coming into levels on all these things where it's like, if they can't get over it, you got to be careful. AG, AEM, check it out. Chopping at the highs. AG, check it out, right? chopping. I mean, these things have come off the lows, but they don't really look that great. Newmont, it's like watching this like 35 area. Pass. Not so hot right now, right? Chopping around. It's tough out there. Taiwan Semi, again, let's get into the semis and the chips. I mean, it's just stuck in this range. Holding the 20-day. So far, so good. Micron, look at this. It gaps up on earnings. Makes a new low today. Just closes kind of flat. Like, that is scary, you guys. You got to be cognizant. That gap up looks very distributive. AMD, it's just been bleeding lower. Now you're back at some support here. Very clear. Very clear as day. Holding. For now, NVIDIA. This is interesting, right? Looks like it's breaking out, getting chased for the end of the quarter. Okay. Keep an eye on that one. SMCI, we've talked about Goldman getting the buddy pass. Watching this zone around 1,000. Intel's been trash. Lagging hard, right? Just constantly lagging hard. So, I mean, what do you say at this point, right? What do you want to say? I don't know. It's Intel, right? Just keep an eye on it. SMH. Check this out, right? Gap, chop. Look at today's volume. I mean, it's just disgusting. Adobe, pops, flops, chops. Like, again, we talked about the earnings. Obviously, oversold rally, and then gives it right back. Look at Apple, DOJ stuff. Check out the sun. I mean, we are holding. I don't know. I don't have this. Again, I apologize. Like, watching this 170 level and below. Got to hold here for Apple. Because if it doesn't, that's got to be, again, you've got to be careful. Like, that is not good for the market. Amazonian, holding up pretty well, riding the lightning, as we call it. Meta, held the 20-day, chopping around. So far, so good. CRM, a lot of these names just chopping around the 20-day, holding up. Google, rally back today into the gap. Man, it's so close. Again, I'm watching that 153. If it hits, I think you can short it. Microsoft broke out. That's not really what you want to see. You don't want to see dojis. Something looks funny there. Look at NDAQ. Look at the volume on this thing. It's looking really funky at the highs. MicroStrategy. Again, if Bitcoin's not going anywhere, don't be surprised. Look at that. I mean, you're making a lower high. Another doji. I don't know. The easy money's out of it until, obviously, Bitcoin rips. I mean, that's where I'd be selling options at that point, unless Bitcoin rips. Just be careful. Netflix, I mean, you got to give it credit. Holding up. Roblox, nothing. Watching the 200-day. PANW, again, we like this one. This is a Pelosi buy. Still, I would really rather see the channel lows or 200-day. Good old Tesla. Nothing. I mean, it's just dead money, y'all. I don't know why people get so infatuated with this. Again, whether you like Elon or not, the stock is dead for now. Good old Airbnb, holding up pretty darn well. Got to give it credit where credit's due. I mean, that's the thing. It's where you have stops. I mean, you can't look at the whole market overall and say, I know for sure. Like, because again, you're getting a ton of anomalies. Here you go. Gap down, chop. Watch the 20-day. We talked about that in the pop. Starbucks, this thing's been dead. Absolutely dead. It broke below the channel, and now it's just dying on the vine. That's the thing. Like, it would die if it was dead. Like, it would die if the market starts rolling, but it's not. Look at FedEx. Gaps up. Goes in and fills. It's close to this gap. I'm watching this gap. 290s. If it fills, I mean, that doji, it's not really that strong. Caterpillar's been on fire, right? Some of these material names. Uh-oh. Be careful. Tweezer top there. Nucor. Breaking out or faking out? This one's tough. Looks okay. Letter X, as we talked about, this stuff is, again, they're going to get bought out. It's just a matter of when and what price. VALE. I mean, this is a global growth name. Just trash. Arrow. Trying to break out. It's holding up, but you got a multi-day range. You got to get over the 1930s. CCJ, as we talked about, looks like it might be trading in a 100-day China chop, digesting a big move. Again, a 200-day in this 38, 39 area is crucial. Ag names, I mean, we've talked about this. Just leave them alone. Choppy, sloppy. NTR, same kind of thing. Choppy, sloppy. AA's been holding up pretty darn well. Okay. Credit where credit's due. I mean, this is the thing. You got to give it credit. XLF, this is where it gets again. Like, I'm like mind boggled that the banks are just still rallying, but the juniors look like crap. Here you go. Outside reversal bar. Finally. But the volume's not great, so just be careful. JPMO. maybe bar. I mean, Morgan Stanley, we talked about this one lagging. Another railroad tracks, tweezer top, Bank of America, chopping up near channel highs. Goldman breaks out. It's not the ideal bar you want to see. And here you go, KRE. We talked about the junior banks being just a mess. Like when you zoom out, you're like, oh, good. Again, it just keeps hitting this 50 area and just rejection. XBI, again, here's another name. Like, again, junior biotech is a risk-on trade, right? Rips out, breaks out, gives it back, breaks the channel. We said, watch the 20-day, hits it exactly. Doink. Pulling back. It's tough to miss so many anomalies in this market, but everyone's like, oh, it's bullish. I'm like, it doesn't look clear as day. Tan, if you like solar, just dead. Sedge. I've talked about this one, watching any bounce. I mean, again, I personally think these things are going back to where they came from. People are like, what's that? Zoom out. I don't know. Somewhere back in the 30s minimum. Somewhere back there. ENPH, I mean, this is another one we talk about, like waiting for it to pop, hitting the 200-day. Next thing, no, if it takes out the 100, it's going to get fugly. For solar, got to give it credit. It's holding up pretty well. Channel is the key. The channel is the key right now. Follow the channel. Follow, like, subscribe, hit the channel. No, I'm just kidding. HYG, here you go, right? Check this out. Chopping. I mean, again, you have to be out of your mind to buy corporate debt, in my opinion. Like, you got to be crazy going into what potentially is going to be dangerous, right? Okay, oil, we talked about this one rallying, been holding up pretty well. Near term, probably a little slow. UNG, again, I hate the UNG, but I do like shorting the KLD. I hope if you're going long this, you have stops here. It decays. That's why you want to short the KLD. We talk about the bounces or when to short it. I mean, could you have shorted it today? Again, I personally think that you want to get as close. I mean, you want to get in the 150s if you can. That's my goal. And then maybe even defining your risk. XOP, been on fire. We talked about watch what happens when it gets up here into the 150s. Okay. Might get a little choppy. ExxonMobil, same kind of thing. Like, watch what happens when it gets up into this 113 plus. This has all been resistance. These names have been on absolute fire, right? CVE, we talked about this breaking the downtrend. Looking pretty good. Junior, I like it. Junior oil. Again, gasoline names like Valero, man, they've been on freaking fire. This has got to be killing the feds. Man, they must be like ROLAIDS, like Rolaids every night. Like, oh, God. Gasoline names breaking out, going nuts, right? Occidental, this one's tough. This is a Buffett big name. I mean, it's just stuck in the Buffett sell zone and the Buffett sell call zone, in my opinion. Just be careful, okay? Oh, man. Last but not least, EQT and Flex LNG. Again, I like EQT in time. I'd love for gas in the market just to kind of get peeled. And then when the onion and everyone starts crying, again, I don't know what price I'd be looking for if it gets down. I mean, I like to zoom out on these things. And it's like, man, that low 20 area would be the gift from the gods. And last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, I think we'll be long-term natural gas exporters. Check it out, right? Here you go. Check it out. Check it out. Like, I don't doubt that for a minute. So, going into next week, right? GDP data on Thursday, durable orders on Tuesday. You got some home sale stuff on Monday, Tuesday. Just be careful, guys. Whatever you're doing, define your risk. If you're seeing trades out there and you feel like you have to jump in, get big, go, do everything hard, I mean, all right, just define your levels. You have to define your levels. If you're looking at real estate, again, we're seeing, it's interesting because you're seeing the low end of the market hold up really well. I think people realize, like, again, I don't know where this money's coming from, but we're seeing low end in Denver, high end crushed. But high end starting, again, you're going to see like a wave. And if your house is listing or you're looking to, this is the best time is right now, between now and kind of, I don't know, like Memorial Day. People really want to jump on top of this movie. And if they're looking to put their kids in school next to fall, they need to sell their house when? Now. And if you want to buy a house, you probably want to get it done. You want to be moved in because it's going to take 30 to 45 days to close on average. So the average buyer is going to start getting ahead. And it's kind of like the thought where, if you ever look at the flight prices, way out in the future, if you want to buy your ticket early, the prices jack up, right? And so those people want to get ahead of it, and the very anxious people. And then obviously the prices come back down going into, before the actual flight date. And it's the same thing with housing. Like, the housing will start to pop now, and and then it'll give it back into June, July, and there'll be a slight lull, and then it's like, all right, if you're not moving, you're not moving before the end of the year. So I hope that makes sense, that analogy, especially for the calendar year for schools. That's what's key. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon.